The purpose of this class is to demonstrate the importance of storyboarding in visualizing and communicating your story and filmic ideas. It's also to show how clear storyboarding and comprehensive annotations help to engage everyone involved in a project. There are additional supplementary outcomes which include an exploration of how the continuity system can engage audiences and how shot selections can determine how story information is interpreted. So this is shot 1 of the storyboard, and along with the shot are the kind of notes you would be expected to keep in relation to what you're going to shoot. So if we look first at shot type here, this would be an extra long shot. One might also call it an establishing shot. It's a convention within the continuity system. The duration of the shot would tend to be determined also by those conventions, which indicate that a shot which contains a lot of detail and is a long way from the subject tends to have a longer take. The purpose of this shot in storytelling would be to establish location and setting. And the last in the list there are notes for items such as the action that occurs within the shot, so you'd need a reasonably detailed description of this, the depth of field for the focus, and the colour palette, which might help set the mood and the atmosphere for the film. One other item that one has to remember is how this shot will transition to the next shot. I think we should take a look at the next shot before we determine that. So this is shot 2, and before we begin I should introduce some of the conventions of storyboarding. This large open arrow here indicates camera movement in this case, and here this small closed arrow represents character movement. I've also indicated that our character is dressed in a different way from those that surround him or her. Now again we look to shot type, and this would be a long shot. Its duration, well, the duration would be long enough for the character to walk along the row of cars, and that also indicates the action. The purpose of this shot is to focus on our character, though not so specifically that the audience would lose their curiosity, but also to specify the setting. The camera angle here, well, it's a tracking shot, and the movement and depth of focus, or the depth of field, might be focused just on the character, with the planes in front of and behind the character slightly out of focus. The way that the shot tracks here is moving from left to right with the character, and as the shot comes to an end, the camera remains in a fixed position at the end of its track, and the character moves off towards the right hand side of the frame. This occurs as a straight cut from frame 1. So this is shot 3 of our sequence, and it continues the movement from left to right on screen. The character moves into the frame from the left hand side to the centre, and once he's in the centre, the camera tracks with him. This is a medium shot which shows the immediate vicinity and some of the action. The duration of this shot will be 4 or 5 seconds, long enough for the audience to see the action, which is the character examining cars and their contents, which suggests that the character is about to steal something.
So this is shot 4.
The action continues with the central character moving from left to right from the opening of the shot. The character stops at a vehicle and peers inside it. The shot type here is a medium shot, but it will change towards the end of the shot in order for us to establish a movement which will continue in the next shot. So, towards the end of this shot, the camera will start to track in over the roof of the car towards the character and then cut abruptly. The purpose of this shot is to pique the audience's curiosity with regard to the actions of our character. So you should be able to see the importance of notes to go along with your storyboard because of the complexity of the previous shot. It also applies here. We continue that inward tracking movement into the back of the character, and we can't see the character's actions because his or her back obscures them from us. Towards the end of the track, we begin to see that the character is breaking into the car. So it's a medium shot tracking into something which is tighter framing, and the duration is 2 or 3 seconds, and its purpose is to slowly reveal the actions of the character. What also happens here is it's a reverse angle to the previous shot. So that should alert the audience that something is out of the ordinary here, because it breaks the conventions of the 180-degree rule of the axis of action. So now we come to our final shot, and this is a jump cut from the previous shot.
In this case, the jump cut means that the action jumps from before the character breaks into the car to the point where he's entered the car, hot-wired it, and is driving away. So it cuts out lots of extraneous information and implies everything I've just described in a simple straight cut.
The character appears to have broken into the vehicle and is about to drive away.
I've deliberately left the shot type out of this one, and this is for you to choose. The way I see it, there are 3 options. The first option is that the camera remains fixed and that the vehicle drives away out of shot. The second option is that the camera tracks alongside the vehicle so that the vehicle remains in the same position within the frame. The third option is that the camera pans to the right with the vehicle as it drives down the street and we see it drive out of sight.
The duration of this shot is also up to you, and the purpose of this shot and how it might be interpreted by the audience should emerge from the shot type you use. The important thing is to remember to keep notes
and reflect on what the implications are for the audience's understanding of that action. This is a classic case where the action remains the same, but the way it's represented is different and generates different meanings.